All right, let's go now to the group that everybody would probably agree is by far. Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, Milan, and Newcastle United. Look, there's a bazillion storylines here, starting with the Saudi-Qatar sort of clash. There's Borussia Dortmund, the People's Club, against, clubs are owned by wealthy overseas groups. Two regimes and a hedge fund. How about that? But let's go beyond that. Let's go to the football. I have a ton. You're not going to like this. I have a ton of questions about what Luis Enrique is doing at Paris Saint-Germain, and very few answers. Yeah, the talent's there and so on. And Mbappe, if they're in a situation where Mbappe has to carry them, I don't think that this is open and shut for Paris Saint-Germain at all. That said, I think it is a big leap to the next level into the Champions League for Newcastle and for Eddie Howe. I don't think it's something that you want to underestimate at all. I don't know how they play effectively against teams when they have to. I think it's high quality teams when they have to go at them. Teams that are good on the counter, teams that have a lot of speed up front, a lot of one-on-one ability. I'm thinking Dan Burn and Trippier against Mbappe, Leao, guys like that, Karim Adeyemi from Dortmund. So for that reason, I still have Paris Saint-Germain going through. For me, the other decision is between Milan and Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund not started the season well, certainly in the way they play. I think Terzic still has a ton of things to figure out, making some late moves in the transfer window. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with Milan. I think they're deeper. I think they're faster. I think they're younger. I think they're fresher. And if they can weather the absence of Tonali, maybe when Benacer comes back, I'll feel much better about them. I'm gonna go PSG and Milan.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's a fascinating group, Gabby. The group, the most difficult group, the group of death, if you want to call it that way. It's tough for PSG.
We don't want to call it that. That's a stupid expression. You should never use the expression group of death. Stupid.
Yeah, let's forget. The group of the group of the groups. And maybe it's not a bad thing to start tough and to start with big games. Again, I think in this group, especially, how your fixtures are going to fall will be very, very important. And the dynamic of your group could depend on a lot of that. If you're Newcastle and you play PSG first and last, for example, by the last game, you might already be through. They might be through, so a lot can change than if you play them back-to-back third and fourth game, for example. So that will have a big bearing on it. I agree with everything you said. I don't believe in Dortmund at all this season. I think losing Bellingham and Haaland 12 months apart in back-to-back summer is too much. It would be too much for any team to recover from, really. So then it's Milan and Newcastle. I'm a bit more optimistic than you on Newcastle. I think they can do it. I think they've got a really good squad. Yet the lack of experience from Eddie Howe himself to, I don't know, a Burn, even Isaac, Almiron, those guys who've never played in the air, I don't think is compensated enough by the experience of a Trippier, for example, or a Sven Botman, who's played, one season in the Champions League with Lille before, I think. So that concerns me a little bit. And Milan obviously reached the semi-final last season, but it's a different Milan team. And do you know what? I've got a feeling that Newcastle can actually do it. So I go PSG first and Newcastle second.
All right, next group on paper, again, always on paper, more open and shut. I think Manchester City, Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade or Crvena Zvezda, and Young Boys Bern. Jules, I think we're going to agree on this one, yeah?
What's the point of that group anyway? You may as well give them already the qualification. Send City and Leipzig through. Between Red Star and Young Boys, have a playoff game when the winner goes into Europa League, and that's it. Come on, it's over now. This is a group that will have two games, the Leipzig City and City Leipzig game, and that'll be pretty much it, man. Come on.
The only thing I would say about this is, Belgrade hung on to a lot of their stars. It is an interesting team. I did not know this, but their coach, of course, did really well last year. I've completely forgotten. This is from Israel, which is not something you necessarily expect to see in the Champions League. It shows you how maybe the talent base is certainly widening. Young Boys on paper worse also as well this season, losing Fastnacht and the guy who went to Rennes, Reader.
Yeah.
What I would say about Leipzig, just slight cautionary tale, and we haven't seen it that much so far. It hasn't impacted them, but it is a huge turnover in players, losing Nkunku and Leimer and Soboslai and Gvardiol. Obviously, they've recruited very well.
Yeah.
But can you imagine maybe a misstep or something and then no?
No, let's move on. No.
All right, let's move on. All right. Group H. Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. I mean, Barcelona would really have to screw the pooch to not get out of this group.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't see that happening. I think they would have to bring Ronald Koeman back for that to happen. No disrespect. So the question for me is second place. I think on paper you would pick Porto, who for whatever reason, obviously Otavio's gone. I think that's a really, really big loss for them. And a loss that I think in some ways flew a little bit under the radar when we mentioned, guys at the peak of their career who chose Saudi Arabia. But I think they still have it and their experience. There's a reason why they qualify so regularly out of their groups. Shakhtar Donetsk. I love the romantic story of Chigrinsky coming back. He's 36 years old now. They lost the miracle man, Trubin, between the sticks. So, and Antwerp, but for that incredible final day of the Belgian League, and look, I'm sure somebody must have done a YouTube montage. If you don't know what happened on the last day of the Belgian League, go back. Somebody on YouTube will have done a montage.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. I mean, the most dramatic league ending that I can remember, with apologies to Sergio Aguero, 93-20. I mean, this was even greater, right?
Yeah.
But they're not getting out of this group, right? Sorry, Mark Van Bommel. I think it's just too big a leap. Porto would have to really screw up for that to happen. So I'm going Barca and Porto.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what a contrast between this season's draw in the Champions League for Barcelona and last season's draw, where they were obviously in the group with Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, could not get out of it, then got knocked out by United. Each time well beaten by a better team as well. So this time they will fancy the chances. They will love that draw. Them and Porto will go through. And then between Shakhtar and Antwerp, who the last time Antwerp played in the European Cup was 66 years ago. Di Stefano scored against them. They played one game and got absolutely plummeted by Real Madrid. So it's good for them. It's a great story. And you know what? I want to believe in them that they can maybe get that third place and go into the European League and continue that kind of European experience. So 1, 2, 3 for me would be Porto in second, Barca in first, and Antwerp, the Minos, in that third place.
Ahead of Shakhtar.
Ahead of Shakhtar.
All right. There you have it. I do want to say this with a caveat. We have made predictions, and people love then going back and throwing these in your face. Please remember, the calendar isn't out yet. I reserve the right. No, because you're right. The fixture list makes such a difference. I reserve the right to revise all my predictions once the calendar comes out, and it should be coming out next 24 to 48 hours. Jules, it's been good. Shall we go and do a show on Monday?
Oh, that would be awesome. I've missed you today, so
that would be wonderful. All right. Until then, I can use my catchphrase. Love the game. Love your neighbor. Love yourself.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.